How you doing, folk? Charlie, out and about. I want to show you a monument where a hero lies. Because this date, the 16th of November, this means a lot to the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. Because on the 16th of November 1857, the siege of Lucknow, or the Indian Mutiny, took place, and the 93rd Highlanders were once again in the thick of battle. The Argylls won 7, and one of the recipients of that VC lies in a grave up in Lesmahagow. Sgt David Mckay. He's that famous to write songs about him. There's a song called Forgotten in the Grass. If you go to YouTube, put that on, you'll hear the song. But I'll try and leave it in the description. So I'm heading out there to show you his monument, show you where it is, and how to find it if you're ever in the area. So that's it, the 16th of November 1857, the siege of Lucknow. Malky Walk wrote and performed a song called The Relief of Lucknow. I'll put that on as well. So that's where I'm heading today, and then I'll go and see my big mate, Big Liam, who's now retired. He spent 15 years at the British Embassy in Baghdad. He's now retired. I'll go and pay him a visit. They crossed the Guilty's bloody banks as still the sepoys fired. Anyway, so I'm out and about. So I'll take you up and show you. I'll tell you a wee bit about Sgt Mckay. Once I get parked up, have a look at the monument. If it needs cleaned and polished, then I'll do that first. And then I'll show you it. And there's a boy up there for the Royal Scots who's buried up at Lesmahagow as well. So I've got my poppy crosses, my poppy stems, thanks very much to the Royal British Legion and East Kilbride for them. So that's where I'm heading today. So come with me, Charlie out and about, going to visit a hero. I know I'd Lucknow one day will thank it to the Lord for sending Colin Campbell, you have done the 93rd. For sending Colin Campbell, you have done the 93rd. How you doing, folk? Well, I've made it up to Lesmahagow Cemetery. You'll see here on the archway in, you've got the Roll of Honour, 1914, 1919. 1914 and 1919, and I see they've been out 1939 to 1945. This is on both sides of the archway. What a men for this place. Memory of those from the parish who fell in World War 1939-1945. So when you make it in, just over on this side here behind that hedge there is W. Kirk, Royal Scots Fusiliers. And you'll see this wee bit here, as soon as you come in, it's on your left hand side. And it's like a horseshoe. Sadly, this is where all the paupers are. All them that couldn't pay the shilling to the parish, they're all in here. But in 1998, a monument was erected in the memory of Sgt David Mckay. David Mckay VC, 93rd Highlanders. Sad to think he was only 48 when he died. Yeah. So I'm going to get a wee clean. Needs a clean. So if you're ever up in Lesmahagow, you can find it very easily. See, they kind of use this site, this plot. This is for all the people that couldn't pay the parish. They're all buried in here. So Dave Mckay and his wife, Mary Stevenson, they're both in this area of the cemetery. So I'll go now and get my cleaning stuff, get it cleaned up. How you doing, folk? Well, I've made it up to Lesmahagow cemetery. This is the new cemetery top of the hill. I fast tracked it in so as I could play a bit of music by Milky Walk. And you see that hedge there just there on my shoulder. That's where the monument is. I've had a look. It's dirty and it needs a clean, so I'm waiting for the kettle to boil. I'm going to get a clean. Spruce it up a bit, and then I'll show you some stuff. I've wrote out some notes regarding Dave Mckay, so I'll get that done. So I'm just waiting, and they always say a waiting kettle never boils, but I'm waiting for that anyway. And then, as I say, I'll show you some stuff. Thanks for watching. And I was right, the other one, the other stone that's here down the other side of the hedge is W. Kirk. Take it up with William Kirk from the Royal Scots Fusiliers. So I've got a couple of poppies and some poppy stems. Again, thanks to the Royal British Legion, the village, for passing these on to me. I'll leave these and I'll get Dave Mckay's monument and I'll show you that. I'll get it all cleaned, polished. So thanks for coming with me today. Well, I'm just waiting for it to dry off now. You can't beat a bit of Mr. Sheen. It's looking a lot cleaner. Once I get it polished, let it dry off a wee bit. Didn't get my inhaler. So I'll let it dry off, then I'll get a polish. I'll get in the van and I'll tell you a wee bit about Dave Mckay, or Sergeant David Mckay. Anyway, let's be at the van now. Speak to you in a minute. How you doing, folk? Just waiting for the monument to dry off, and then, as I say, we'll get Mr. Sheen onto it. Yeah, we'll get a good polish. There's a couple of things I wanted to show you, and also wanted to tell you. So I've wrote it all down. Dave Mckay was born the 23rd of November 1831 in Caithness. His father was Angus, a farm labourer, and his mother was Christina. They had 13 children, and David was the second born. And at the age of 19, on the 23rd of December 1850, he joined up and he went into the 93rd Highlanders, and he rose to the rank as sergeant. His brother Donald also served in the 93rd Highlanders and took part in the famous Thin Red Line, and he fought at Sevastopol and Balaclava. As I said, Dave Mckay rose to the rank as sergeant. His VC was awarded for his actions at the siege of Lucknow during the Indian Mutiny. His citation in the London Gazette dated the 24th of December 1858 reads, "For great personal gallantry in capturing the enemy's colours after the more obstructed resistance at the Zenaburg, Lucknow, on the 16th of November 1857. He was severely wounded afterwards at the capture of Shanuf. The whereabouts of his medal is unknown. Sgt Mckay sold it whilst he was still alive. It was auctioned off around 1910. And sadly, Sgt Mckay is buried in an unmarked grave at Lesmahagow, where we are today. A ceremony was held at the cemetery, and it was attended by members of the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders on the 14th of November 1998 to unveil a marker erected near his grave. His wife, Mary Stevenson Mckay, is also buried at Lesmahagow, and she died on the 8th of July 1879. So he died a year after his wife, sadly, and his brother served as well. So that's the badge, the 91st and the 93rd who amalgamated and became the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. The biggest cap badge in the British Army. Sadly, they're no longer. And but the Canadians, the Calgary Highlanders, they still exist today. And they carry on the traditions of the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. There you go, there's their cap badge. And here's the bonnet. That David Mckay would have worn, the 93rd Highlanders. I was given that by an Argyll. I'll not say who, but an Argyll gave me that, and I treasure it. I look after it. I shampoo it, believe it or not. I shampoo it. It's on my cabinet. And there's my Glengarry. That's my original. You see, it's still got my number on it. That's my original. And my TOS. With my black cap badge. So there we go. So there's a wee bit of history which took part today, the 16th of November 1857 at Lucknow. So I'm just going to go up now and polish the monument, and I'll get it set up and I'll lay the poppy crosses. But thanks for coming with me today, and if you're ever in the area, give Dave a wee look up. I'm sure he would appreciate being remembered. Now, there's a funny story of how I found David Mckay's monument. Google's a great thing. I found his name on Google. This was a few years back, and it says that he was buried in Lesmahagow. And I thought, well, Lesmahagow's no far from me. I'm going to go and see if I can find his grave. Pay my respects. My big mate Stevie came with me, and we came away out. And I got here, and we had a look about. I couldn't find it, so I got talking to the grass cutters. And the wee grass cutter, I was explaining to him what I was looking for. And he says to me, "I've worked here for years, mate." He says, I've never came across this. It must be in the old cemetery." So off we went, packed up and away down to the old cemetery. The grass was up like that. We had a look about, couldn't find it. So in the wee village there's a library, and this woman was coming at the library, and we just happened to stop her and ask her, did she know anything about the VC winner David Mckay and his thing? And she went, "I know the very person you can speak to. And she took me up to a house which is directly across for the cemetery. And it was an old Navy guy who had started the ball rolling to get the monument put up for David Mckay. So I went and tapped his door and I got talking to him. And he brought me across and he showed me exactly where it was. And he told me about the parade that they'd held for the unveiling of it. So it just goes to show you. I was meant to meet that wee woman at the library who then took me to the guy that actually commissioned and got the monument put up. And he told me all about it, so I was there the moon. So ever since then, at this time of year, I usually try and come up with remembrance. But obviously with Robert's name being in Bodwell Park, I go there. But it's a great day, it's a beautiful day. Sun shining. That's the monument, all sparkling. I got my Master Sheen on it and it's all polished. So I'm going to go up and set it up now. And I'll lay the poppy across, as I say. So there's a story of how I found the monument and how the grave digger and the grass cutter here didn't even know it exists. He does now. So anyway, I'll speak to you all soon. I'll see you soon.
And told us stand on down and won himself the very greatest honour and renown, but he left his name forgotten in the grass. His body stopped a bullet from the guns that he defied. To cut it from his torn lungs they never even tried. He carried it beneath his breast until the day he died, but he left his name forgotten in the grass. He left behind
there you go, sleep well, Highlander.
in the carnage he had
Sgt
seen.
D.McKay.
He married Mary Stevenson back home in Aberdeen, and the modest pension came in for his service to the Queen, but they left his name forgotten in the grass. He ended up in Lanarkshire above ground at the coal, but left to nurse his dying wife dearer than his soul. He wouldn't buy her burial from the army begging bowl, and he left her name forgotten in the grass. He wished himself no headstone, and soon with Mary lay. The regiment were told at once of David's dying day. He came and stood to attention, then from his memory walked away,
And this all side
and he
of
left his name
the hedge.
forgotten in the grass.
It's a little Scots Fusilier here. Taking it as William Kirk.
They sent him then home again with £10 in his
There we go,
hand.
sleep well, son.
They buried him
Thanks for
in
your service.
poverty with a regimental band, and he left his name forgotten in the grass. They cleared the glens of people and stole their stars.